All right. So, hello everyone. Dominique Holiday here, CEO of Holiday Systems Inc., business consultant. I'm here with Sheena Parker, the government contracting queen. I'll let her introduce herself. Let her introduce herself, and then we'll get a conversation started.
Thank you so much for having me. Sheena Parker, aka Sheenapreneur, your favorite veteran. I am a GovCon authority, and I teach people how to do government contracting with my three-tier method of federal contracting, local contracting, and corporate contracting, because I feel like you shouldn't just be restricted to sam.gov. And I have a YouTube channel as well called Sheenapreneur.
That's interesting. So, how did you get into government contracting? Where did that even come from?
I retired out of the military in 2022, and there were periods of time where I was a reservist. So when I had my civilian job, someone found out I was a veteran at a Christmas party and asked me, do you do government contracting? And I didn't had no idea what he was talking about. So I did a deep dive into YouTube University that night and just started learning about government contracting. It was not easy way back then in like 2014 or whatever. Now everybody talks about government contracting. But then after that, me coming from real estate, I had a real estate background of renovations, and I had a contractor, and I said, okay, well, if I already have someone that I trust that can do renovations, maybe I can go into something related to real estate on the government contracting side. And it led me into facility support services or facility management or facility maintenance, whatever you want to call it. And we started, I bid on my first contract and I won, and it didn't work out well. I had to give that contract back, but that's okay. And so bid on my second one and won, and it was a six-figure contract in 2019. And it was 4 months, and we repaired floors for fire stations for a county contract. So it wasn't even federal, it was county, and we were done in 4 months, six figures. So I was like, this is a breeze. I could do this all the time.
So you hired someone that you knew, right? So a contractor you were previously working with on a professional level. So I have seen a video with you talking about hiring people close to you, family members, and that may not be a good idea when it comes to government contracting. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Or business period, because a lot of people hire someone in their family or a really close friend that they know is not suitable for that job. Even cleaning, I don't know why everybody in the world thinks that janitorial is easy when it's not. A lot of people have never really been taught how to truly clean, even military people, because it's not just civilians, but everyone in my family pretty much has touched scrubbed the toilet or has done something in my company foresight, even to include my kids. So, some were better than others, but I knew that I was hiring janitors that were not janitors. And so I had to know what came with that. And the same thing with the other opportunities that I provided other people. They weren't fit for the job. They had no experience, but I hired them because, they were friends. And so it could work out very well if you hire family, especially some people partner with their family members and it works out just fine. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying, read the room essentially. Does this person do well with any other type of business or their obligations? You have to look at them the same way you would look at anyone else.
So I do have a question because I am a federal program manager as well. So with the contracts we receive, we go off of milestones. Is that
Yeah.
something that you guys go off as well? And when you were hiring these people, were they not meeting that criteria that the government has set that they need to meet? Is that why you say, make sure that you basically have the right person in the right position?
It's actually a really good question. I've never been asked in that specific way. So in construction, which facilities can be kind of classified as construction, yes, we do a lot of milestone contracts. But it's not really that. It's more. I don't want anyone calling me about anything. Don't call me about nothing. Everything should be done. Period. You say you could do
Mhm.
it. There shouldn't be a single toilet that was missed. There shouldn't be a single floorboard like transitions that were missed. There shouldn't be anything like the things that you would do in your industry, they should be done. I shouldn't have to come behind you. And if the agency is contacting me, then that's a problem. So it wouldn't necessarily be like we didn't meet a time milestone because truthfully, unless it's some sort of emergency contract, the agency doesn't harp too much on timelines if it's going to be done correctly if it's something that just needs to be done. Now, if we're talking about it
Mhm.
needs to be done before school starts, when we work with the school systems, stuff like that, yeah, there needs to be time hacks. But I depend heavily on employees and my contractors to do what they say they're going to do. They have the guidelines up front. So what is the reason why we're not meeting those deadlines?
Yeah.
I need to know.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because the government is very particular about how they lay out details. They'll give it to you in layman's terms, like we want this, 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 and that. And from what I've seen, I'm in technology, so it's a little different, So because we have different people in different areas that can do different things, and when we're laying out those milestones and completing those milestones, that's when we get an invoice. So I don't know if it's similar to that, but it similar to that or is it not?
Well, what I find more is that the government really doesn't know what they want. I mean, I have been a sub of a sub and caught really, really, for lack of a better word, dangerous things that could have gotten a lot of people in trouble. I have an IT background. I was a signal warrant officer. So IT,
Mhm.
I get it completely. Of course, I did it for 20 years. But for me, I always make sure I'm looking at every aspect of the contract. And probably 80% of the time, the government doesn't know what they need or want. They may say, the end goal is to build a fence, but they don't know the process for, call before you dig, or they may not know that, Georgia clay is harder to dig than, dirt in Hawaii or whatever the case may be. They're copied and paste that same document from a whole different location. And then they're like, oh, this is what we need. But then they forgot that, 90% of the ground in Georgia is full of termites, stuff like that they don't necessarily know. So I find that more than anything, unless it's something that's recurring every single, whatever, year, 5 years, and they've been burned so much that they're super specific, but that I don't come across those as often.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. So as far as what contracts are the easiest, should I say, to find and to win? Because you've been in for a while, so I know you've seen a lot. So a lot of people go try to jump for the bigger contracts, like
Yeah.
the $1 million contracts, the $500,000 contracts. So if someone was coming to you today and say, "What contract should I go after?" What would you tell
I really hate that question.
them?
Because I tell them to go with what they know. Like, don't ask me. I have no idea what you can do. If I tell you to do janitorial and you're like, oh my God, I get sick at, I've actually had a woman tell me that I get sick at the thought of a dirty toilet. Then if I tell you janitorial, that's not going to work for you. So
Right.
really, you need to come to me and say, here are my skills. I'm thinking about doing this. Or I have a lot of people tell me, look, my dad can build a house from the ground up. My sister has a cleaning company, or they have some sort of, my uncle has been doing landscaping for 30 years. Start there, or start with what you actually do or what makes sense to you. What made sense to me is I have a contractor that I trust that has done renovations on buildings and houses. I trust him with my whole heart, and he can get this done because I can't do drywall. I know he can. He's gonna find somebody that can. So I trust him completely. So easy is relative because, like I said, janitorial is not easy, and then if you might not be good at hiring people, so everything rises and falls with that weakness that you have, and managing people and managing conflict. That's probably one of the biggest things. Is like you got to fight. I always say I got to fight up and down because I'm trying to make sure I manage my subcontractors and my employees, but then also keeping the agency happy. So I'm kind of like making sure that they're protected down here, the paid employees, and then making sure that the agency is not bullying them, or they know what and keeping them happy. So there is no easy. Whatever it is that you can do, that's the easiest thing.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people think that everything should just like in the world that we live in today. People think that things are supposed to come just like that, and
Yeah.
they're not open to learning a new skill, learning how to do things. They just want to jump in, and then what comes with that, what I've seen, in my opinion, is your name gets tarnished. So now your name is tarnished. So now a lot of government contractors or government entities, they are in connection with each other from what I've seen in my field. So they'll say, no, you shouldn't work with that person. Now you can't get those contracts because your name is tarnished. So
And
go
and
ahead.
Oh yeah, what's worse than that is that, especially just like in these last couple of years, and I'm sure you've been seeing a lot of people swarming around teaching about government contracting. And no knock to them, because if someone's teaching someone about government contracting and the person didn't know, I'm all for it, because it's the easiest way to wealth, right? I've done a million things. It's the easiest way to wealth. I'll put my hand on it, okay? But with that, people are coming to me and they're like, "Oh my goodness, I just threw something up against the wall and I underbid. That's the only reason why I won." And now they're upside down. So now you're paying to do the contract. So that's why one of the reasons why I tell people is, you know, the gaps when you're working on something that you know how to do, or at least you have someone that you can trust and ask. This asking after you won the contract is no bueno. That's not a good way to operate. You are a business, and that's what people forget. You're a business still. It doesn't matter who the client is, government, corporate, commercial, a human being. You are a business. So if you just had a business, would you be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go bid on something for fuel"? Do you know anything about fuel? You don't even know what you don't know, because you're just trying to see if you can win, and then you don't even know how to send an invoice. I mean, these are things that come to me every single day. Like, how do you do an invoice and it's already 2 months after the time you started, and you got people to pay? And it's like, you got to build those business skills first, know what you're getting into, number two, and then execute. And some people are like, I can't do it. I don't know what to do. I'm like, you're literally, you can't just stop this. This is different than you going to do, cleaning someone's house. You can't just stop this. You have a contractual obligation to the government. you
Yeah.
know. Sorry,
So
because
I,
my
I,
blood
I
pressure
want
low.
to I want to get into that a little bit deeper, because I know we're running out of time. But underbidding and being upside down, how would someone do that?
By not knowing
Break
their
it down
price.
to it. Yeah, break it
Yeah.
down to, like, if you were speaking to a third grader. That's what. If you're
Okay.
speaking to a
Okay.
third grader, break it down. How would you underbid and be upside down in your contract?
So if you are going into a contract, for one, something you know nothing about, and this could be any price, could be $1 million contract, and could be a $10,000 contract. When you don't know what you need to price, because you don't know how long it's going to take to do that thing, you underbid. If you don't know any gaps, like let's just say, you didn't know, for example, I'll use one of my contracts where we had to bag up hazardous waste into red bags. So my contractor didn't know that you can't use the red bags with the skull and crossbone on it, because now it's biohazard waste. Like
Mhm.
it's the waste that needs to go into a special receptacle, and you have to wear the hazmat suits. That cost us an additional $7,000, because we had to dispose of it in a special dumpster when it didn't even need to, because it wasn't that type of biohazard waste. So not knowing, if he had been on the contract without, just without knowing, well, it ended up still biting both of us. But if without knowing that you don't have to necessarily do that specific thing, then you're opening yourself up to the things that come later. Because of course, this was never addressed at the beginning. This is mid contract. This is midway through. Someone's like, "Oh no, a person saw the bag and they said that's da 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 because they're from, EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. They need to do this." And so now we're adding more money into, taking away from our profit and adding more money. So when you don't know the gaps, that's when you start to run into money issues. Same thing with, I'm usually using like janitorial slash facility examples, but just that's what everyone can relate to cleaning. Everyone has cleaned something in their life. So even like, let's just say a cleaning product, they're like, "No, you can't use this specific cleaning product," which it was never addressed specifically in the contract. You're like, "Oh, it's just cleaning." But then they're like, "Well, no, you're halfway through. And if you don't do this specific cleaning product, we're taking you off the rest of the contract." And that happens too. It's like, I don't care. You can fight all you want, but you don't have enough money to fight. To be honest, the big bank take little bank every time.
Every
So
time.
every time. So those things is like, it's super dangerous, and you're underbidding because you don't know what you're doing. That's usually the only time. Like I said, my first contract, I didn't know it was floor waxing. I was like, "Ooh, I don't know." I just literally Googled floor waxing, and my contractor was like, "Oh no." Hell to the no. So it left me open for that. Luckily, I was able to get out of it. But this is what I'm hearing over and over, especially these out of state contracts where people are just throwing someone up against the wall and they don't know the contractor, the subcontractor, and then the subcontractor disappears. And now you have to go across the country to do the contract. Now you're spending money that was supposed to be your profit. So
that's never good.
Never. And it happens like daily. I get these same questions every day.
That's amazing. That's crazy though. But okay, so I know we're right at time. So tell everyone where they can find you at, where they can get in, how they can get in touch with you, and just give them some input on that.
Yeah, so it's Sheenapreneur on everything. I have a YouTube channel, as I stated, sheenapreneur.com, where I offer my course on the 3-tier contracting. You can also book a strategy session with me, 30 minutes and 1 hour strategy sessions, if you're just trying to get some information about where you should start. And also with that, if you do get the strategy session, then you get that amount off of the actual course. And I'm also Sheenapreneur on Instagram, where I do share a lot of information for free on there as well.
All right. So go follow Sheenapreneur, the government contracting queen, and let her help you get some money. And that's Holiday Systems, and this is government contracting. Until the next time.